5 mental habits derailing your success. What are they? What are these 5 mental habits and why are they derailing your success? Let's get into this. Number 1 is asking what if instead of how. Normally people ask what if when they doubt themselves. So don't ask the what ifs, ask how. When you ask how you're going to do something, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to make this better? How am I going to create a system to do what I need to do and to get my information out there or better my business or whatever the case is? That's the question that you should be asking. You shouldn't be asking what if, because what if comes from a place of doubt. When you talk from a place of doubt, you start doubting yourself. You seem that you're unsure. Your body language will reflect that. Mentally, you reflect that with your words, your choice of words, your communication. Again, body language, verbal, all of that. It just becomes bad. So don't ask the what if, ask the how. When you come from a place of how, it's a place of understanding. And you want to understand yourself so that you can do what you need to do to progress forward. So when you're asking how, or even better, why, you have a better understanding on how or why something is the way it is, and then you can improve on it. When you ask what if, all you're doing is thinking about the possibilities that may never come true. So don't ask what if, because I guarantee you there's a lot of these what ifs. And I'm talking from a place of no, this is exactly what happens to me. When I think about certain business ventures I want to get in, certain companies I want to invest in, and certain things I want to do in the business world, I happen to have a bad rap of asking myself, well, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or what if? You could sit there all day and ask the what if all day long. It's kind of like what I said when you're either talking about problems or solutions. Well, the what if is kind of like the problem. I mean, you're talking about like all these problems and potential what ifs, when you could be talking about the how, and the how is the solution. So think about it like that. If that's another way to spin it and it helps you understand a little bit better, then that's how you should think of it. So number 1, asking what if instead of how. Don't do it. Ask the how, get it done, boom, move on to the next one. What's number 2? Focusing on others instead of yourself. And this is anything. This could be anything from browsing other people's lifestyles to their Instagram feeds to their anything, their success, what they may model as success. You know, we tend to get caught up in the mentality and viewing things online as, oh my God, somebody else is better than I am. Just because they're posting a picture of them in front of a car like a Porsche or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari does not mean that they're better than you. I mean, if you want to kind of trump that thought, then think of all, well, I'm kind of going back here. I was going to say, think about all the what ifs. Like, what if they rented that car? What if? So maybe there is a good area for the what ifs, but don't do it when it comes to your own business. But back to number 2 here and focusing on yourself instead of others. I personally block Instagram out and I block Facebook out for periods of time. The reason being is it actually will get me more depressed when I think about things and I look at other people's stuff online. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good to look at others and what others are doing and get ideas, and that feeds the creative mind. But when you start looking at others and you start thinking about how you're not as good as them, and
I'm not doing as well as them, or I don't have that car, or they're so much further than me.
You don't know that. You get it? You don't know that. So don't assume. I did another video on assume. It makes sense outside of you and me, and I'll say it again here. The thing here is this: don't assume that that person is better than you. There is plenty, and I'm talking plenty, of successful people that I know, that I've talked to, that have great positions. These people have great lifestyles according to their Instagram feed and their Facebook, but at the end of the day, they're lonely. Their life sucks. They want more. They think that they're not successful, so they're in the same boat as you. I mean, if you wanted to do a little test study, go rent a Ferrari and post a couple pictures of it on your Instagram. You know, go in front of your neighbor's house or the house down the street in Bel Air or something and post some pictures. Watch how much people think different of you. And I'm not telling you to do that and actually fake that, but I'm telling you that that's the society we live in today. So think of it this way. Somebody's Instagram feed is basically their entire life, whether they've made it up or they have not made it up, but it's all filtered to what they want you to see. What is your Instagram feed? Go back and look at that. Think about it. Are you gonna put all the crap on Instagram? Are you gonna put all the trials and tribulations, all the times that you failed, all the times that maybe you had a really bad car, or your engine broke down, or a business that failed? I mean, I can go on and on and on for days, but you're not gonna put that stuff on there. You're gonna put the best of the best. I do the same, everybody else does the same, and if you don't, don't lie to yourself, because I know you do. Everybody does, why wouldn't you? I've had a little taste of success myself, and it is lonely. You wanna keep your friends, you wanna keep true to people, don't change your attitude, and don't let money change you. Money or success will change somebody, but it's up to the person if they let it change them or not, so don't let it. What's number 3? Not seeing how successful you already are. This is the most important thing, and I can definitely tell you this from personal experience. You know, I drive myself so hard every single day to do better and to be more successful and to be more creative, and who doesn't? Everybody that's an entrepreneur does do that. There is a caveat to this. You don't want to do that so much that you're driving yourself into the ground. When you drive yourself into the ground, this is something that comes with a lot of depression, a lot of anger. You start feeling hurt, you start feeling lonely. I mean, you can get into a really dark place. The mind is a very, very, very powerful thing. And I don't need to tell you that. Research and the medical industry and all of that can tell you that, as well as yourself. Think back at times that you were super depressed, super angry at something. You're probably angry because you lost something that you maybe didn't even have. And again, I've done another video on this as well, but I could tell you what, you're successful in your own way. Again, don't compare yourself to somebody else, because when you immediately compare yourself to somebody else, then yeah, you might be unsuccessful because you're not doing what they're doing. Your success is measured by how you feel when you're alone. When you're alone, when you're not on your phone, when you're not in front of your friends, when you're not in front of your family, simply when you're alone and you're thinking to yourself, you're able to just open up your mind and just think to yourself, how do you feel when you're alone? Do you feel like you've accomplished stuff? Do you feel like that you're moving ahead in life? If not, write down some of those things that that might be bothering you. Write down some of those things and change those. That's the only way you're gonna do this. Again, nobody's gonna change anything but you. So remember that. You have to change it yourself. So if you're unhappy about something, change it. One of the famous quotes that I've heard from Steve Jobs before is, if you wake up too many days regretting something, it's time for a change. And I firmly believe that, because you're the only one that can change something in your life. Nobody else is going to change it for you. Now, there are caveats to that, but I don't like talking about them because they're what they call pink unicorns, and they don't happen a lot. And those are things like winning the lottery or getting some lump sum of money or things like that. But again, those all come with a caveat as well, and those can actually lead to more problems. Biggie said it best, more money, more problems. So money doesn't always solve problems. It comes with a new set of problems. So think about that as well. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Number 4 is not focusing on the problem and overanalyzing. What is the problem? I talked about this in one of the earlier ones. Some of us focus so much on the problem and not on the solution. Not focusing on the problem instead of overanalyzing and reviewing everybody else. What is the problem? You do need to focus on the problem, but more importantly, you need to focus on the solution. So I did put the title of this as not focusing on the problem, because sometimes what we do is we don't focus on the problem or the solution at all. All we're focusing on is all these other things, like measuring our success compared to others, and why this person's doing that and I'm not doing this, or that person's business is better than mine, or simply trying to beat out the competition permanently. These are things that are inevitable. There's always going to be somebody better than you. There's always going to be a business that's doing better than you. And there's always going to be competition. I think that those 3 are always going to be there. You know, competition is competition for a reason. You know, if things in life were so easy, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be a super billionaire and rich and probably unhappy. So don't let this skew you and mess up and derail your success. Think about this. Focus on the problem, define the problem, and then move on quickly from that and focus on the solutions. What are the solutions to fix this problem, and what are the solutions that are going to drive me farther and drive my business farther? Those are the only things that you should be focused on, not on all the other crap that comes along with it, or what they call shiny object syndrome, because there's a ton of it out there. What's number 5? Number 5 is materialism over management. Now, again, I've talked about this in the video already here, but materialism is a huge thing. Every one of us want to have money. Every one of us want to have a nice car. Every one of us want to live that lifestyle of freedom and doing whatever I want, whenever I want. Well, at the end of the day, again, I've done other videos on this as well. Don't let this fool you, okay? There's no easy method to success. There's no easy route that just lands a bunch of cash in your lap. There's nothing like that, okay? Everything requires work, and everything requires some purpose and some effort on your end. Now, the measurement of how much effort is going to go into something to produce a result, input versus output, yes, there are industries that allow a lot less input for a lot greater output. Internet businesses, drop shipping, Amazon, things like that, those do have a certain amount of input, but the output could be a lot greater. But then you also have risk that's involved as well. There's always going to be inputs, outputs, and a certain amount of risk as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. So don't fool yourself and don't look online and think that one of these ads or one of these YouTube videos that says how you can make $1 million in X amount of months by doing nothing and living this free life. Like, it just doesn't exist, okay? When you're focused on the business part of it and you're focused on the creating the management, management is obviously in this portion of the video, but those are things that are gonna drive you forward. When you're focused on the materialism and your mindset just wants to do what you're doing because you want the nice car and you want the fancy house and things like that, I'm telling you what, you're gonna get it a lot slower. You're not going to get it faster. I had to think about that for a minute because you might not even get it at all, to be honest. You need to do good. You need to be ethical. You need to be well versed in what you're training. So not just putting something up and hoping that somebody buys it, because that's considered scamming. But there's a lot that goes into this. Materialism will always prove itself in the long run. And kind of like I've said before to some of my friends, that your actions speak louder than words, and they really do. Over time, if you're a bad person, it's going to show. And here's one of those things that will show. If you're materialistic and all you care about is the money, it's going to show. You might get a couple followers up front, you might make some sales, you might have your course or your businesses do good to a point, but you will be uncovered, and when it does, it's going to be a brutal, honest truth, and it's going to suck for you watching if that's you. So make sure that you focus on the management and not the materialism. What are these 5 mental habits that are derailing your success? Let's cover those one more time. Asking what if instead of how, focusing on others' success instead of yourself, not seeing how successful you already are. Number 4 is not focusing on the problem and the solutions. And number 5 is materialism over management. So I'm Kris. That's our video for today. And if you're wondering where I'm at the Casa Hotel in San Francisco. This place is so dope. This will be one of many videos that's shot here because it's really that cool. It's a brand new hotel, so if you don't know what it is, check it out online. I'm not a spokesperson for them, and I'm not getting paid to promote them. I just legitimately like this hotel, as you can see from some of the videos and the pictures that I have on my media around. But that's it for this video. I'm Kris. Until next time, I'm out.